Hi, I'm Donna Harris. I'm the founder and CEO of Builders and Backers. So you're thinking about applying for the Idea Accelerator. We're glad. What I thought we would do is take you through a couple of slides and share more information about the program to help you make a decision. And we really do hope you will apply because we think there are great ideas everywhere. And we'd love to help you put yours into action. So let's jump in. What exactly is this Idea Accelerator all about? And who is this company, Builders and Backers? Well, we are investors. We're also builders ourselves. We're entrepreneurs, and our objective is to inspire anyone and everyone who has an idea to put those ideas into action. Let's get them off the sidelines and let's actually do something with them. We do that by training. We do that through equipping you. We also come alongside and help you build the idea that you have. And then we're funders. We recognize that not everybody has the money necessary to actually take action on the things that they care about. So we invest in exceptional entrepreneurs and their ideas from the very earliest stage. And that begins with the Idea Accelerator program. So let's start with what we believe, right? As I said, we believe that there are ideas everywhere. There are good ones. All of us have things we care about. And some of the most creative and compelling ideas that we've seen, some of the best entrepreneurs we've worked with, are people whose ideas are just percolating in the back of their head. You know, I always had this idea. I always thought I would launch this thing. Wouldn't it be great if? And not only do we all have ideas, but we all have things we care about. There are problems all around us that we could be applying entrepreneurial thinking to go and solve. And if you're remotely, tech savvy, you know that there are no shortage of things that the digital era is allowing us to create and new businesses and things that could come from that. So whether your idea is for something big and huge and world changing, or something that can become an awesome small business or employer in your community, or even a social impact kind of idea, we're all ears. And the reason is that we think all ideas matter. We're in a place where we need solutions, we need jobs, we need to recreate the economy that in a way that works for all of us. And so we think that all these ideas matter, but we don't actually know which ones will work until we put them into action. And that's really the key for the Idea Accelerator, is to take those ideas that you have and actually get started. Now, here's why. If we think about why most new companies fail, it's actually a pretty big number. 75% of all new companies fail. That's 90% of new mobile apps, 80% of new restaurants. It's a pretty high bar to pass in order to succeed. And if we look at why that is, one of the biggest reasons is that we build things that people don't actually want, right? Things that don't actually solve a problem, or they solve a problem that nobody has, or not enough people care enough to have it solved that they're willing to pay someone to do that. Oftentimes we build things that don't even work. They don't actually solve the problem, or we can't make money doing it. So lots and lots of reasons why. But here's the thing. If we think about how we usually build new ventures, we identify a problem, we come up with an idea, and then we usually start making some pretty high stakes decisions. We start investing our time and our money to build something, and then we deploy it, we put it out into the world, and then we see what happens. And the problem is we don't actually get evidence that our idea works until way down the pathway. And this is because if you think about what a startup is, what any new company is, it's nothing more than a bunch of guesses and assumptions. And oftentimes our first ideas aren't our best ideas. So if we take these two root causes, we can actually solve these problems. And we believe that we can do that by testing our assumptions before we get started. We can refine our ideas before we start investing lots of time and money, before we take big risks and big leaps. And the way that we do that is through experimentation. We think it is absolutely the best pathway for mobilizing our ideas. So, that means being able to ask the question of, will my idea work? You can do all the surveys you want. You can go and talk to as many people as you want, but there's no substitute for actually putting your idea in front of somebody and not asking them what they would do with it, but actually observing what they do with it. Do they actually use it? Do they use it the way you think they would use it? Do they want to buy it? Do they click on that thing? So we teach this method of experimentation in the Idea Accelerator program. And we focus on the question of what is the quickest, lowest risk, most inexpensive way for you to put your idea into action. We do that through helping you design a small scale experiment to just give your idea a go and see what works. And by the way, when you do that, you're going to learn a lot about the problem that you want to solve and about your idea. And you will most likely also learn things that help you refine those first ideas and turn them into best ideas. Now, what do we mean by experiments? This is really a big question a lot of people have. So if we think about them, they're actually all around us. If you go to your mailbox and you get the Target circular, or you get a Costco ad, or you see a Walmart ad, you and I are actually getting different ads. In fact, there are thousands of different ads being distributed around the country because each of them are experiments. They're experimenting with what they put in front of you to see what you do with it. And credit card offers are a great example. Credit card companies play with all the different benefits and rewards and make different offers because what they're trying to do is hone in on what are the exact combination of rewards that increase the likelihood that you will then apply for that card. We also are participating in experiments online. If you and I go to the same webpage, we in all likelihood are seeing very different content on many of those pages. And that's because they're experimenting with the right content to drive the right actions with the right set of users. So they're not just online things, and they're not just for shopping. Experiments are actually sort of all around you in the community. So if you think about a city might experiment with closing off a block to see what actually happens. Does it actually increase foot traffic to the businesses in the community? Or a church might experiment by offering different activities to see if it increases the participation of high school students. Experimentation is actually just it's a fancy word for a very simple process. And by the way, experiments are how most of the highly successful new companies around you actually got started. So if you are familiar with Rent the Runway, it's a highly successful clothing company where instead of buying clothing, you rent them. And before the founders actually built anything, before they invested in putting any kind of tools together or raised any capital, they ran a very simple experiment, which is they went to their local college campus, they rolled up with racks of borrowed clothing from their friends, and they were testing their most important question. Would people actually be willing to rent instead of buy clothing? Because why build a clothing rental company if people don't actually want to rent clothing, right? So they didn't have to spend a lot of money to do this. In fact, it was a free pop-up clothing rental experiment. Dropbox, another great example. A lot of us use it to store our files instead of putting them on our laptops and our computers. And Dropbox was spending all kinds of money advertising and trying to get customers to sign up. And instead, they decided to make a basic explainer video. So again, not investing in development and coding and programming, they made a simple explainer video that basically painted the picture of what Dropbox would do and what it would become. They put that video out on YouTube and it resonated. They literally went from 5,000 people on a waiting list to 75,000 people on a waiting list. So it was not only a way to demonstrate that people wanted what they were trying to build, it helped them get a pathway for launching their business. Now, your idea might not be a high-tech company. That's great. We love all ideas. We're idea agnostic. What we believe, though, is that experimentation works for any kind of idea. Whether you are an entrepreneur that has a high-tech idea and you want to set up a business and you want to make profit and growth from that, or you have a problem that you care about that you want to solve, this concept of experimentation works with just about any idea you can come up with. So here's what we cover in the program. We're going to teach you and then help you use experimentation to bring your idea to life. So we start with some basic learnings, right? How and why experimentation works. Why does experimentation help make sure that when you do put your idea into action, you do launch something, you're launching something that has a higher likelihood of being successful. We're going to expose you to all kinds of experiments, lots of examples from different parts of the economy. And then we'll share with you a whole bunch of low and free cost tools that can actually be used to test your idea. But don't be intimidated by that, because we'll actually surround you with a venture studio team that helps you take your idea and apply all this knowledge and all these tools to figure out what's the best experiment for your own idea. So we help you craft those experiments. We help you with the actual building of the things that need to be done. We'll help you develop a budget, an action plan, and then we'll help you actually go do it, right? The key is to actually go get it into the market and see what happens. When you do that, gather evidence, refine your idea, and put you on a pathway to launching your new venture. And ideally, launching it in a way that it has the potential to drive scale and to become a highly impactful enterprise in your community and even nationally and globally. So we also, in addition to providing the funding and the team of people to help you do this work, we provide the Pebble funds. We will cover the cost of testing and launching your idea. Once you complete the required work that is in the program, the learning and the exercises, you will get a budget to spend on testing and launching your idea. You'll work with a dedicated team that will help you design that experiment and put together the budget so you know what to spend the money on and spend it wisely. And then once you're approved, you will get a Builders and Backers credit card that has all of your pre-approved expenses loaded and ready to go and to be spent. And best of all, these Pebble funds are what we call non-dilutive. What that means is we're not going to take any equity in your company, and you don't have to pay us back. What we want to do is really be friends and family for you and help you get the funding that you need at the sort of pre-seed early idea stage to get your idea launched. You'll be required to submit receipts for all of your expenses, but all of the intellectual property and everything related to the idea remains yours. So this is the timeline for the upcoming cohort. Applications are open now. They close May 30th. So if you're considering joining this program, you should get on the site and apply, start your application. It's actually a very simple and short process. We will kick off the program June 16th and we'll wrap up August 25th. It's a super short, fast-paced program, and we promise you that in that timeline, you will put your idea into action. So here's the time commitment. We will get together for weekly sessions. You'll do that virtually, so you can participate from anywhere in your community. The program is designed for people who have full-time jobs. So the rest of the commitments, the self-paced learning, the personal application, and the office hours, you schedule those and you do that work at your convenience. All in, the program should take you about anywhere from 3 to 5 hours a week, but most of that, again, is scheduled at your own leisure and done at your own pace. In addition to the structured activities, you'll have an array of people available to do office hours and check-ins with you. You will never feel like you are on your own having to do this work or figure out how to make this all happen. And then obviously, at this point, you probably have some questions. On our website, which I'll share the link in a minute, is a whole series of frequently asked questions. But some of the most commonly asked ones I want to make sure that we cover today. So who is eligible to participate? Anyone. If you live in any of the communities that are currently participating in the summer cohort, you are eligible to participate if you have an idea. We love ideas that we think are creative and compelling and have the potential to scale, but they don't necessarily need to be ones that are high tech. They definitely don't need to be ones that are sort of venture capital ready. We're really interested in creative and interesting and unusual ideas that we think there's a potential sort of there in that idea. Then again, what kind of ideas are we looking for? It can be high tech, it can be low tech. We're going to look at what is the problem and what is your creative idea. And ultimately, what we want to make sure is that it isn't an idea that's already in the market or somebody's already executing on that. But if you've got a creative idea that we go, that could be really compelling. That could be really interesting. We'd love to hear about it. Participants are selected through application. So you'll submit some information to us that helps us get a sense for, what's the potential here for this thing. And we ourselves are entrepreneurs and investors. We've reviewed thousands and thousands of new ventures and new companies, but we also get help from our partners at Heartland Forward and the partners in your local communities to help us select a really good cross-section of ideas and builders. And as I said, you own the intellectual property for your idea, even by participating in this program. And if your idea works, then we continue to work with you to help you take it to the next level and to the next set of outcomes. Every builder that we work with ends up getting a sort of custom pathway for what comes next with my idea. And whether that's raising funding, joining an accelerator program, launching and generating revenue, we're beside you, helping you make that happen if it proves that your idea works. So I'm sure you have many more questions. If you go to our site, which I've included a QR code you can scan using your phone, or you can type in this link, it'll take you to our site, which gives you more information, how to apply. The application is there, lots more FAQs. And there's a place for you also to email us if you have a question that we haven't thought to answer. But I really want to encourage you to apply. We are looking for creative and compelling ideas. We're going to leave no stone unturned in the country to find promising builders and really cool ideas so we can get them into action and help them grow. So if you think that's you, I encourage you to apply, and I look forward to seeing you in our summer cohort.